Okay. All right. Starting a new day. Just want to do our check-in just to become kind of like self-aware as to how we're feeling, what we're thinking. So if anyone wants to share what you're feeling or how you're feeling, whether it
I'm
be
yellow today.
yellow.
Yeah, much better mood.
I'm with you.
I'm definitely gray. I am so tired and I want the week to be over.
I'm ready for the week to be over, but I still feel yellow. And I think it's because it's a holiday week. So I'm like, it's an extra weekend day.
Well, I'm not rushing. I don't like to rush time. So I'm feeling a little tired because I was traveling today with me and my grandson. We're here with my daughter in Charlotte. We got in like around 3 o'clock. So you know how it is when you travel. It's like a long day.
Yeah. The best
So
part when you get off that plane was being able to go get to your place, take a shower, get some AC and a drink.
yes, and that's what I just finished doing. No drink, but I just got out the shower. I ate. We stopped and got something to eat. I took a shower. I was watching the news a little bit about P. Diddy. So I'm relaxing now. My daughter's not home. She's at work. So hopefully she'll be able to come in soon and take the kids over to the pool while I relax.
Nice.
But other than that, I'm good. I have no complaints. I'm not rushing the week. I'm taking it day by day slowly because things go so quick before you know it's gonna be September.
Yeah.
So I'm not rushing anything. I'm just taking it day by day.
We were just
I'm
talking
taking
about
it
that.
in.
Yeah. We were just talking about that before you got on about how the stores are rushing us and already doing back to school stuff.
You're
Terrible.
kidding me. Really? Oh my God, always my boys, they just got out last week, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's rude. Hi, Sam. How are you? How you feeling today?
I'm doing fine. Just enjoying the nice weather and relaxing. Had a couple days off of work, so
Oh, nice.
enjoying the weather.
Kick back, right? Kick back and just let it all sink in.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be busy on the next 4 days, so just enjoying it for now.
Good. All right. So for this session, it's preparing for and managing intrusive questions. You may encounter, just quickly, you may encounter individuals or even family members that may have just questions, sometimes just out of curiosity. So at times they may ask questions that may take you like aback a little bit, or even for that child as well too. So just being mindful as how you may respond and what approach that you take and when answering any of these questions. For the characteristics that will be highlighted for this session is being able to have a sense of humor, emotionally supportive and being nurturing, and belief in self-efficacy. I always say that word wrong, so I take my time. We're going to be jumping into a video from Beth Hall about how she manages questions from strangers, just so we have a little snippet on what Michelle's referencing.
Adoptive families like mine are often visible because we don't look like each other. That means that strangers think and often feel entitled to come up and ask us questions about how we're connected or even if we're connected. That can be very triggering for children and can sometimes stimulate to wonder whether or not they actually belong in our family. So it's important we give some careful thought to this. When strangers come up to us and ask us how much our children cost or what the details of their birth were, like was their birth mother on drugs, or whatever stereotype they might have of adoption, first of all, that's none of their business. Now, if you're me, I might not be that nice about it, but if you're you might be a little nicer and want to kind of respond to the adult. But what I say to you is, your number one responsibility is to the child standing next to you, whether they're 2 or 5 or 8. And believe me, you will get these questions at all those ages. You need to take care of your child. You need to act like family. You need to entitle your child not to tell their personal story, their private business to everyone. Nobody owes that, even if they're an adult. You need to give them permission not to answer questions. That means you need to demonstrate it. So, in my family, what I often did was touch my children. We acted like family. And then I would say something like, do you want to take the question this time, or should I? Now you notice I redirected my gaze to my child. What was I saying? Who's important here? You are. Not this stranger over here. You are. And then they would often say, so I have 2 kids. One of them would say pretty much every time, you take it, Mom. And the other one, oh, she loved to have a story. Tell them that I'm a Guatemalan princess and the king and queen couldn't take care of me this last year, so I'm living with you. And the adult would look at us like, are you going to tell her she's full of it? But I never did. I always had her back, and I always had my son's back. We always said it's us against them, and that's how families act. And then we have to do the most important thing of all. After these things happen to us in the grocery store, we go home and we talk about it. We talk about how annoying it is, how much we hate it. We laugh about it. There was a time when my kids were maybe 8, 9, 10, where we had this thing, we had a secret code. Now, don't you tell anyone. But if any one of us scratched our nose this way, this is what we all did. We responded to people who were looking at us by doing this. And we all looked at them, and they thought that was hysterical. And what were we doing? We were acting like a family. And that's what we need to do. We need to act like a family.
Thoughts on that video? Because there was a couple of smirks I saw.
That was cool.
It's something to think about, because sometimes people will ask questions and they're being nosy and being curious, and sometimes it's not ill-intended, but sometimes the way it can come across can come off offensive or too much, where you're just like, really? Like, and if
Can
you were
be
going to ask that, just
intrusive.
ask it to me as an adult, you know?
Yeah.
Right, and sometimes to be asked those, I mean, intrusive questions, thinking about how that youth reacts to that. You know,
Must
because
feel.
at times it comes with a negative connotation to it. And so how would the youth kind of feel about it? So,
No, it's an uncomfortable question.
mm-hmm,
I would say his family, or this child is family, or
Mhm.
something like that. If they're asking how come I all of a sudden have a baby or a child in the house, you know, I don't think I need to respond to or give them any more information than that.
Mhm. And it's also just being important to have that open communication with the child as well on what are they comfortable with saying or addressing it. I know one of my youth that I had when I was in the Bronx, he swore he did not want anyone to know he was in foster care, didn't want anyone to know anything about his story. And they all knew each other on the block. So when I came on the block, they knew I did not belong there. Like, who were you? And so he used to tell them I was like one of his coaches from Little League. And I was like, baby, it's not the best storyline, but I'll go with it. Like, if that's what's going to work for you. But it was what he felt comfortable saying. So when I would come and show up, he was like, oh, yeah, my coach is coming to get me and to just talk about the game. And I was like, okay, that's what works. So really meeting the child where they're at and what their comfort level is as well.
Yeah.
So as we transition, we're going to be talking a little bit about labels and descriptions. Go ahead, Michelle.
sometimes labels can be inaccurate, right? We go by immediately like what we've experienced, and sometimes we automatically find ourselves that when we encounter other individuals, we kind of give them a label, right? However, it may not be accurate. It's stigmatizing the individual. And at times it can be outright just hurtful for that other person. We will discuss using more of a positive description instead of labels, with the child, and in a sense, negative labels for a child.
Mhm.
So in these pictures, how would you identify, the little girl that I can't figure out if she like threw like Cheez-Its on the floor or she ripped up paper and that's what you see on the floor. But like looking at the pictures, how would you describe each depiction?
Mm.
Right? Some people might say, oh, she's, that's in the first one, oh, it's a foster child. Right?
I would
So
say that's Katie. She's just having a good time with the crackers on the floor.
Yeah,
That's
and that's
Katie. That's Maria. That's
and
Joanne.
that's
Yeah.
that's the way to be looking at things strength-based, because sometimes we have stigmatizing words that can have ill connotations with them and make people feel negatively, like foster child, crazy, drug baby, clingy, abandoned, beaten. And so we have to think about how language matters and that we're being mindful of these words, and how they can make us feel as well as the young person too. Because if someone described your child as being clingy or they're being crazy or they never listen, they're like bad mouthing them, then how does that impact both of you guys? Whereas you can also look at it in the strength-based way and say, they're still growing, they're still developing, they're learning. And so we're going to work with them on teaching them how to do this a little better so that you're looking at it from a strength-based perspective of what does this child need? Mhm. So why are labels hurtful? Right?
as what we talked about, that they can be stigmatizing. They don't account for the person's many different parts. They're different things that they may flourish in. They're generally inaccurate. They don't allow for unique individuals. Change how we think, and it doesn't give people a fair chance, and it disregards people's experiences.
And we know as adults, words matter, right? And I'm sure we can all think of a memory or a time in our life where someone has said something to us describing ourselves, our actions, a decision we made, or how we manage our life in a negative way, and it impacts you and it stays with you. And some of us do better than others in terms of forgiveness and moving forward and being able to say, okay, that was that person's opinion. But other times you keep that always in the back of your mind. And it makes you also start to question yourself on, am I doing something wrong? Like, was that the right thing to do? Is there something wrong with me? And so we have to remember that as well for our young people, the words that we're using with them and the people around us as well, and how they're talking to our young people in the home.
So instead of labels, we want to be able to focus on the focus on the person as a unique human being. Always start with the person's strength. Being able to highlight that. Use accurate descriptions, acknowledge a person's experience, being gentle on ourselves, right? No one has all the right answers. And remember that we're all still growing and learning from each other. Being gentle with ourselves in the sense too that we might make mistakes, but how do we recover from those mistakes? right? If we say something, we slip up and it's like, oh, that's not what I meant, and be able to give a positive description or a positive explanation for, for that use. And so this is what Nellie was talking about, that the words that we use, the language counts. For the foster child, labeling a child that's crazy, or labeling a child that's a drug baby and beaten, child who's been abandoned and clingy. But how can we rephrase those labels? How can we rephrase them?
And let's not overthink it, because we don't need to overthink things. We just try to think of a positive way to do this. Like a foster child, instead of saying a foster child, maybe you just say the youth, a child, the teenager, the kid, right?
Instead of saying crazy, just saying a child having fun. Just being a child. It's a lot of times children just do stuff like that. That's being a child, what she's doing right there.
Mhm.
Or maybe it's energy, saying that the child has a lot of energy. Is that a bad word? That's to say? Yeah, you can say they have a lot of energy.
They're still learning.
Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe they reacted strongly and someone says they're being crazy. Maybe they're just confused. Maybe they're scared. And
Yes,
using
And
those kind of words.
instead of saying clingy, say lovable.
Mhm.
She says lovable. She says loving on me,
Mhm. Absolutely. Or she needs some support. She just needs extra soothing. That's all.
Extra hug or extra soothing,
What about drug baby? What's another way we can phrase that to someone?
Wow.
A baby that's sick. If the baby's sick, I think I see the different chords on her.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's
She could just
medically
be-
fragile, got
Yeah.
some medical issues.
Mhm. What about abandoned?
Loner. I would say he's just a little loner. He likes to spend time to himself before he gets to know, until he gets to know people.
But what if someone just says your kid was just abandoned and that's why you have him?
Hmm. I wouldn't say it's abandoned. The child's abandoned because they're with somebody who cares about them, who's caring about them.
Yeah. And so maybe you would just tell them like they weren't abandoned, they just had parents that couldn't take care of them. So I'm helping.
Right.
Right. And so that automatically just reframes everything. So, whoever asked you or said that is gonna be like, oh, that's a different way to look at it, right? And
Mm.
that's the purpose here. What about that child's been beaten?
Traumatized. I don't know if I could tell somebody that though.
Yeah, but you can say traumatized, like, and so that we're
Yeah.
creating this air for sympathy, and not sympathy, but empathy, to realize like the child was traumatized. He's a survivor.
Mm.
So that they see it from a different lens and they don't just look at it in a bad way.
Right.
So welcoming children into your home and community. Michelle?
Here, we'll talk about ways to help children feel welcome in the home. Also ways to manage intrusive questions that can be awkward, that can be embarrassing, but that can also be hurtful for the child. And again, it could be individuals, it could be family members that may be making these intrusive questions or statements, as well as friends or just any people, the individuals in the community. But in helping the child in the home, thinking about ways that we can help the child feel included in your home. We had mentioned before about being present and active in conversations when engaging with the child. listening to the child as far as, is there any nonverbal messages that, you know, if the child has a suggestion about when they're feeling frustrated, this is a sign that the child is going to give, and you automatically know what it means. And so you may say, okay, when I see this sign, all right, he's asking for space, so let me, you know, let me intervene here and give that to for him. The other is providing a safe home environment where the child can feel included. And we had mentioned this a little bit before about putting some of the things that they, you know, the things that they do as far as like artwork or schoolwork or like a test, putting it on the refrigerator frame, you know, putting it out there for individuals to see, which makes the child feel special, including as maybe taking a picture and framing it and putting it in on, you know, if you have a picture wall collection, taking one of that youth and including it on that wall as well.
And something also really important to remember too is their space in their room, right? You're going to want to allow the young person to be able to put their touch on what their room is going to be. And I'm not talking like every child that comes into your home, you're going to do a whole new paint job. That's crazy, right? But we are talking about other ways that we can help them feel like this is their space in their room so that they can feel more safe and more like this is home for me.
It reminds me of I believe the little boy was 10 years old, and he was placed in his current home, but his sibling was placed in another home. And so he had asked his foster parents, can I have a picture of, and the particular picture he was referring to was his mom holding him and his sibling. And foster mom framed it and put it on his little nightstand. And so at night he would look at it and say goodnight. And he would take care, and he would, you know, fall asleep, you know, have their night routine.
Absolutely. So now we're going to watch a clip that helps us think about welcoming a child into the home before they even arrive. This is another clip from that movie Instant Family that we showed the other day. And we will warn that there's some language used in the clip that can be offensive to some people.
Honey, put those down, please. Thank you. All right, come on, everybody. Honey, come on.
Can it be hired?
Buddy, hands, hands.
No voice now.
It's
It was,
frozen.
yeah, it was really
Trying to-
low.
I'm trying to make the volume a little louder to see if that helps.
Oh,
Sorry.
Including the very lucky kids that are soon to be adopted by two wonderful parents.
I'm really thankful for that too. I mean, that is really inspiring stuff, you guys. Well done.
Yeah, about that actually,
Yeah, we've decided together not to move forward with the foster thing.
can't hear it.
we just realized we hadn't thought it through properly, so.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. This is
The
great.
volume is all the way
I mean,
up.
we were all being supportive to your faces.
Oh, yeah,
but
we all thought you were out of your minds.
I never said anything.
The volume is really low for some reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, can't hear it.
It's on stereo. I don't know why that's happening. Let me see this up on this end.
But I'm thankful to hear this.
What? Why?
Ellie, let's not. We're
No,
all
no,
holding
no. I
hands.
would be
Let's just-
thankful to know why you all have a problem with this.
I never had a problem with it.
I think it's kind of smart to have a couple kids without the pregnancy and the hormones and the rage.
Stop talking.
Ellie, all I'm saying is that we're thankful that you and Peter are going to experience having the love of your own beautiful children rather than.
Rather than what, Jen? Just spit it out. Hell, I'll say it. Rather than just rolling the dice with the offspring of some criminal or drug addict.
To be honest, we were worried about our real kids' safety. What? Were they to hang out with your kids if they're...
Oh, damaged goods? You know, because when I was growing up in the neighborhood, a lot of people thought I was damaged goods, too.
Oh, Pete, we're not talking about you, man. We're talking about, you know, crack babies and kids who have been sexually harassed.
Sexually harassed? What do you mean, like their parents maybe made lewd comments?
You know what I mean, you wise ass.
Open your stupid eyes.
How long has everyone's eyes been open?
Kimmy, you of all people, what if you can't have a baby? Do not put that out into the universe,
Well, what if
please.
you can't?
Well,
Oh my
what
gosh,
are you
Kim,
gonna do?
if you don't quit being so nuts about this baby thing, I swear to God, I'm gonna get pregnant again this afternoon just to spite you. And you know I can do it.
Really?
No.
I'm sorry if we're not as politically correct as you guys, but our baby has to be our blood.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, our blood. This blood right here.
What's that supposed to mean?
Jerry, what do you think of all this?
I'd be thankful if we could eat, Russ.
You just spent 30 minutes talking about the deep state. You don't have an opinion on your own family?
None of my business.
Thank you, Daddy. And I would like you all to know that thousands of children are spending Thanksgiving without any family at all. And right now, I kind of envy them. But I know you guys love me. I know that I have a place to go to eat turkey and be thankful. But a lot of kids don't have that. And it's not their fault. And they're not damaged goods. So forget what I said before. It is back on. That's okay with you, honey?
Yeehaw, baby.
Yeehaw! We're gonna adopt a whole shit whack of kids. And I am thankful that whoever has a problem with it can fuck right off.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, there goes another Thanksgiving. Here, honey.
Sorry about the sound. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Got the general gist of it.
Mhm. So thoughts on that?
It seems to me like the family was trying to discourage them from taking the foster kids. It's trying to tell them that they were made a mistake in taking the foster kids and treating them like human beings.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we're talking about, like, when sometimes people may not, they're not ill-intended on it, and they're trying to have a conversation and they have opinions, but how it comes across can be very offensive. And say you're having conversations, like, this is before a kid is even present. Imagine that happening with children around, and how they take that in as well. So just being mindful of that and how language impacts everyone.
There's a case study. For this case study, it'll follow up with some questions. But after Timothy was placed with you 2 days ago, you take him to school to enroll him. The person who registers children for school is out to lunch. There is a substitute person at the front desk who continues to ask chatty questions such as why Timothy is coming during the middle of a school year. Did you two just move into the neighborhood? And things like that. It's clear he is trying to figure out your situation and comments. He has such gorgeous skin. I wonder what nationality your family is. And so how would you respond? And it can be A, B, C, or D. Just trying to think. How would you respond to, here you are trying to enroll the youth into school mid-year and you're being bombarded with multiple questions. And you're also keeping in mind that you have, the youth is sitting right next to you.
Mm-hmm. So which of those options do you think?
I would use A. Ask what time the register return from their lunch break and come back then. I wouldn't bother with this guy.
Mm-hmm. That's an
My
option.
opinion.
Mm-hmm. Doreen gave a little thumbs up with that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just thinking about that, or even like B, it's like telling him that you're Timothy's foster parent and he's already been out of school a while. Anyone else that can help, right? Like, you gave bare minimum information, now let's move on. So just something to think about. In case study 2, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I can't read the options now, but knowing me, I would just say, I'm sorry, are these questions pertinent to me registering the youth? And if not, I just want to stick to what I need to, with what I would need to address with you in order to register him for school.
Absolutely. Right, redirect. So in case study 2, baseball practice, Johnny says he likes baseball, so you register him for the season, which starts 10 days after he has started living with you. From physical appearances, you do not look like you are Johnny's parent. When you take Johnny to his first practice, the coach introduces herself and asks you two to introduce yourselves. How do you introduce yourself? A, simply saying both of your names. B, tell the team you are Johnny's foster parent and he's new to the area, so you'll appreciate if they can be friendly to him. C, say your names and add Johnny loves baseball. D, comment that Johnny's in foster care and there have been many successful athletes who were once in foster care.
I would say C.
C, yeah.
Right? Just here's our names and he loves baseball. That's why he's here. Right?
Anything outside of that is not necessary. Right? For case 3, the child who has just joined your family has been with you for only a week and you are talking about their food likes and dislikes while waiting in a long line at the grocery store. You are both getting antsy, but you can't leave because you have little food in the house and you have guests coming later. The shopper behind you is listening to your conversation and finally asks, "How can you not know what your child likes?" She looks at least 10 years old. And how would you respond? So A is, we are foster parents and she has recently joined our family. B is change the subject to get her talking about herself or the long line. And comment that children's tastes change all the time.
I'll say mind your business.
Exactly.
I'm with you on that one.
Are you gonna pay my grocery bill?
Yeah, I'm a little too confrontational for this one, so I agree with you.
And I think it's surprising to me because families are so diverse now, especially my family, that I'm like, I have, a nephew that doesn't look anything like me. I have cousins that, are biracial, so, and look more Caucasian than Black. So I'm just like, families are so diverse, you don't know if that person's related or not.
Absolutely, but you'd be surprised how many people still exist in this world who don't understand genetics or understand that some families are just every shade of color under the sun. Right? And it surprises me to this day where when I run across someone who asks questions, because for my own children, one looks like I gave birth to my twin. He's the same color of hair, everything, and the other one is white with blondish hair. Go figure. But they both came from me, and people will still comment about that. And you're just like, really? Like, we don't understand genetics still, people?
That's true. My sister, my niece and nephew, people come to my house and they see their picture up and they say that they thought my sister was the nanny. So
Okay.
she's the nanny.
Yep.
Right. Making assumptions.
So for reflection and relevance, what do you envision as a response from friends and family as you share that you may be fostering or adopting? If you've already told people, how have their reactions felt to you?
I did mention it to my mom. And she says, great, now you have a child in the house, because you've always said that you wanted to have, you were thinking about fostering. So I think she would, my mom sounded pretty positive about it.
Awesome.
Great.
Cause she knows I'm in the house by myself and I'm lonely. And you know, and she knows the thing about the grandchildren too. I'm still looking so forward to that. And I feel like yeah, I feel like it's a good look. My mom said it's a good look for me.
Anyone else want to share?
I basically told a few people, and just the way I come across when I'm telling them, they're like at first they're like, "Are you sure?" And then they feel my energy, and they're like, "You know what, Sam, you would be great doing this because you have a lot to offer kids." Because like I'm a kid magnet. Like I don't know, something about kids. I go over to somebody's house and strange kids would just come hugging me and like, do you know him? It's something about me with kids. And they said my energy just seemed like it would really work out really good. So that's the kind of feedback I've been getting.
Some.
For me,
Well,
it's
we told
not.
Sam. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We
Oh,
told.
oh,
Oh.
go ahead.
we
Go
told
ahead.
we told Sam's niece, she just had a baby. And she was like, they was like, cause her baby was like just jumping at me. It's like she remembers. She's a real like a grown baby. Like she knows stuff. She remembered me, and I ain't see her in like a month. And she was just jumping for me and everything. And they was like, "You want to hold her? You want to hold her?" And I'm like, "No, y'all gotta." And I told them, I said, the last time I held that baby, I got baby fever. Now me and Sam is in classes, and we just doing foster care and everything. They start laughing, and they was like, "No, y'all would be great, great." I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm kind of nervous because I never, even though I was a foster child at some time, but you know, having other people children, and even though I work in the field, having other people children is a challenge. So you know, I guess that's a normal reaction to be a little nervous.
I haven't, I
If you
haven't,
work in education, you might have had more opportunities, you know, like myself, because I've been in education for a lot of years and working around the children. Children are drawn to me, kind of like honey to bees, like what Sam was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I welcome the opportunity to get on the floor and play with them, or you know, try to help them with homework and things like that. It's really cool.
And I
well,
think for
I haven't shared it with my family as yet. I was a foster mom a couple of years ago, and I had a teenager in high school because I'm good with young adults, but this one AWOL'd on me with her boyfriend that just came out of jail, and they wanted me to take her back. I didn't. That's how I lost my thing. So I haven't told my family because I'm not sure what they're gonna say if I want to go through that again. But I did tell one of my close friends. She was like, "Oh yes, yes, yes."
Yeah. Yeah. We just told Sam family, and I didn't tell none of my family yet. So I just, you know, because sometimes people, although you may be good people or whatever, they have a stigma about foster children, and they'll kind of discourage you on, you know, making that decision. So, you
Yes.
know, I just like keep it to myself and just waiting until it happened, you know.
And I
And
know
you know,
Lorraine.
Sam told his family, so I just joined the bandwagon.
And I know Lorraine's been trying to say something. I'm so sorry. Go ahead,
I'm
Lorraine.
sorry,
that's
Lorraine.
okay. I think for me, it's not surprising to anyone because I've been in the space where I've worked with foster kids for so many years. So it's almost like, oh, okay, we were just wondering when are you actually going to become a foster parent because you've worked with foster kids for so long. So for everyone that I've mentioned it to, it's not surprising.
And so the follow-up question was like, is there anyone that you're hesitant to tell of your plan to foster? And you guys, some of you had talked about that too, mentioning like there's some family members that you're like, I'm just gonna hold off on telling them just yet, right? Because you're not sure how they're gonna react or if they're gonna say something and you're gonna have a reaction to what they say too. So things
Yeah,
to just think
we all
about.
have those naysayers in our family.
Mhm.
I prefer not to share things about my decisions with them. I mean, it's just until it's a matter of fact, you know.
Mhm.
I really don't go to them for advice.
Yep. Absolutely. And like how Tony was saying before too, she's like, I'll just wait until they're in my home. Right. I approach things sometimes like that as well, where because I just don't want to hear their comments or their what they have to say. I'm just like, this is my decision and this is what I want to do. And so I'll tell them later on.
Right.
Mhm.
Because people have some general terms that they like to use and say about people, and it's not the same for everyone,
Yep. So
you
just being
know?
mindful of that as you talk to people and let them know and thinking and planning ahead, like how will you manage it? How will you address it if they use judgmental or stigmatizing language towards the situation? Thinking
Mhm.
ahead, how would you handle it and approach it? Okay.
And
And sometimes it could be having that conversation with the family member beforehand as well, not just with the youth. You know,
mm,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm gonna go.
it's good to get input from the youth because you could kind of role play. Like if you hear something like this, what would your response, or if we're asked this type of question, how should we respond? But on the
Mhm.
flip side is having the conversation and start preparing your family members, especially those that may throw like a boomerang in there, right? And so that way reminding them, just remember that this is a child. This is not, we need to be mindful and be respectful of their feelings and how they may react and how they may think. Um, just again, being aware and having those sometimes it's tough conversations too.
What you saying, like
Absolutely.
with the immediate family?
What?
Is it
No,
on?
we're go ahead, Michelle.
For so like someone had mentioned that they're not telling their family members right away. They're gonna they're gonna wait until a child is placed. So it may be about conversations with these particular individuals before the child arrive, before the child is introduced to family members. So that
Wow.
way they can be, they can be, the family members can be aware, right?
Mhm.
Like we need to be mindful that these are, this is a youth, this is a kid coming here. No matter what, let's be respectful of that individual and me doing what I'm doing. And then on the flip side, just having conversations with the youth, like, if we're asked this question, or if you overhear this statement, how can we approach it together? So that way
Mhm.
the child still feels like they have a voice and their feelings
Mhm.
matter, even when they start to realize like, oh, this is my foster parents' family members. I need to stay quiet. I can't say anything. Things like that.
Wow.
But just being able to approach it.
Okay.
It's
So
hard.
now
It's
it,
hard.
it is very hard.
No,
It's
I don't think
challenging.
I'm gonna have that problem with my family. I just don't like they all scattered around. So it's just like if it comes up in conversation, yes, but like as far as like friends that's close to me and everything, they are the ones that be like, oh, are you sure you want to do this because you like you want to you empty nesting now and you want to have your space and your freedom, like stuff like that. But as far as family, they very inviting. Like it's just gonna it just blend right on in.